right, folks, you're welcome back. You're with us here on Cape Rugby TV, on Cape Town TV, DSTV, channel 263. Remember, you can catch us every Wednesday, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And then, of course, we repeat on Saturday, 9 a.m. through to 10 a.m. In studio with me, Renzel Botman, Cape Rugby aficionado, but also from Hamilton's Rugby Club. Adrian Parvater, also from Unil. And Mitchell Carstens, Villages Rugby Football Club. Adrian, I've got to ask this question. You know, it's been like sitting on my mind. The whole Parvater family is legendary in Western Province Rugby. Do you ever get a chance to watch your dad on a Wednesday night?
My uncle.
Your uncle, sorry.
My
yes,
uncle, yes.
Yes,
So
yeah.
now and then, yes. Now that I have a little one, I don't get much chance to watch. But when I do get, I do tend to watch.
Okay.
Or I'll watch a repeat normally.
I don't actually believe you, but all right. But we know, I don't know, Mitchell, on your side, you know, there was a time that we used to get the Villages guys all on board. Are the Villages guys, do they watch the show ever? Are they aware of what we're doing?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Yeah, yes, of course. We love Cape Rugby, and I think it's always a talking point of our game. At the end, hearing all the commentary and it's just gears for us.
Well, I was going to ask you about the gears. You know, you mentioned it earlier on that you guys, from a pre-season point of view, are having a soft approach.
Yeah.
How important is that to make sure? Because I think that the picture we're getting is that there's much more player movement in today's times than there were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and the guys are all over the show. So. Is it really important? I mean, how important is it?
So I would say it's the most important thing. I think that's what kept us alive this season. Because if you look back, it's like it wasn't an easy ride for us in the beginning, especially with all the stuff that happened last year. So the most important thing we tried, Villages, to make the player feel at home as quick as possible. Yeah. Because if you're happy, you play your best rugby. Yeah. And we strong in a culture of zero judgment of where you come from, where you played before. It's you playing for us now, and we welcome you. I don't know. The picture that I get from Adrian is that you might play some good rugby if you've got really grumpy, miserable players. Is that some of the approach? If you get on the field, it's going to be there's no happy.
Yeah, look, a lot of people know me as a quiet person outside of the rugby field, but when I get in there, I get stuck.
It's game on.
Yeah, no, we're not friends on the rugby field.
All right, Unil in Helderburg. Well, there we go. If it's rugby action look no further than what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Rens, how do you think, I mean, we had, before I go to this game here, Unil Helderburg, Helderburg was our team, and Hamilton's in fact, that played in the Community Cup. And I'm going to ask you guys the same question. The feeling of Western Province Rugby compared to other club rugby, that is, compared to other provinces. What do you think that the standard is? I mean, we know that Helderburg, I think they ended up playing in the finals against the Nakabilla, was it? But yeah, your picture on how we compare to other provinces.
Look, James, if you're looking at Super League A, I think Super League A is probably the toughest league when it comes to club rugby in South Africa. All the other teams, you've got this Gold Cup played. Nakabilla, they won the Gold Cup, but you got Helderburg that was in the final. They didn't have a great Super League A season, but that obviously talks a lot about how competitive Super League A is. If you got one of the middle teams that goes to the final.
Yeah.
So I think comparing us to any other league in South Africa, we're probably the top league.
So, Mitchell, Adrian, Unil Helderburg, we just had a look at this game here now. I must say, I really thought that Helderburg was going to be in the top 3 this year from a league point of view. The previous year, they just seemed to be building consistency. We had, the year before that, we had Quistania in the studio talking about the reason that they were having success was because they were minimizing their mistakes every weekend, and that every weekend there was just making sure that all the boxes were getting ticked, and so they had a really good season. But it just didn't seem to go 100% their way. It was like they were fine in the beginning of the season, and then the wheels, well, maybe the other teams were catching up. I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
I think from a Unimol's perspective, we played them pre-season. Unfortunately, I injured myself that day. I popped my shoulder, and we got the hiding against them. And I think with the mindset of going there again and wanting to beat them there at Charles Morkel, it's tough. It's tough. But I think we had that revenge in mind, and we wanted to settle the scores between the two clubs.
There's definitely a bit of Parvater blood in you. I have no doubt. Mitchell, from a travelling point of view, you mentioned it earlier on. You guys have already started looking at next year. How much home, how much away? Adrian just mentioned it now. Playing away against Helderburg was a tough encounter. Yes. How much of an impact is that home and away scenario have?
Massive.
Really?
I would say it's massive, yes, because if you think about it, every club wants to play at home. It's their field they train on, and then obviously it's your fans and it's your people supporting you. So you know the ground the best, you know the weather the best, and on the day the weather can win you a game. In a place like Helderburg, where the wind can decide a game, if you've trained with it all week and all year, it makes it a lot easier. But
so
also,
home ground advantage.
Yes.
So Rens, our fan factor obviously still an important aspect to consider, because in our barometer we look at the defensive side, we look at the attack side, and we give the home team always that 10-point number for the barometer. So it does look like the barometer fan factor needs to be the #1 priority.
Definitely, James. When it comes to club rugby in Cape Town, I think the fans play most of the role on a home fixture.
Yeah.
You got that certain clubs like a Tygerberg, like a St. George's, even a Helderburg, but you get those clubs that's got like thousands and thousands of fans next to the field. So imagining you playing a wing on the side of the field and you hear people shouting at you all day, somewhere along the line you're going to switch off.
Right. All right, well, we're not asking you to switch off right now. We're asking you to hold on. We'll be back after the break. Don't go away.